Hi, and welcome to Care. Today's topic is childhood obesity. There is no better person that I can have talking about that topic than Dr. Sophia Mohammed. So we're going to hear about Doctor just now. She says we can't call her Doc, so we're going to call her Sophia. And joining the conversation as well, representing the dads, we have Huppy today. So we're going to hear a little bit of a serious side from him, if he has one. And then we have Paula Henderson. So we're going to jump right into meeting our guests. Doc, tell us what you're about. Tell us what you're, I mean, you wear so many different hats. I don't know how you get it all done. You're a wife, a mother, you're a vice chairperson on one of the health boards, you're consultant at Children's Authority, and then you have your own television show as well. Tell us, how do you fit it all in?
How do I try to fit it all in? The first thing I say I am is a mother, and everything else goes in priorities. Everything else, right? I try to do what I can do, and what I can't, I learn to say no. And I think that's a principle we can apply to everything in life. The other roles that you would have mentioned is the Vice Chair for the Medical Association Central Branch. I'm one of the consultants with Children's Authority. Also have my own practice at Acropolis, and then do a number of health and wellness seminars. In fact, we're actually doing one soon enough with Atalog Jack, work-life balance. So you think I'm probably the best person to do it, right? But childhood obesity is a particular topic that is passionate to my soul, because having worked in the ICU, the neonatal ICU, the pediatric ICU, by the time the kids reach there and they have their problems, the most we can do is palliate. And if we dial it back, we can actually prevent a lot of these problems. 80% of it is lifestyle diseases, preventative. So that's why I've taken a huge stand with this. I've done a couple talks already, and we'll keep doing these talks. Thank you for having me here at your show.
Thank you for being here. Paula, I know this is also a topic that you're very passionate about. I mean, for you, it's been your story with your son. As mothers, we all seem to get into it because, we've either tried to solve a problem ourselves. We become doctors, we become nurses, we become teachers, whatever's necessary. So Paula, just tell the audience a little bit about how you got into the world of health.
Yes, well, as you know, it started with my son, who was born with a liver illness. And just by helping him through diet, everything, he did a whole 360 when we were looking at getting a liver transplant at one point. And not really overcome it. I mean, he still has the liver condition, but to have a better quality of life through foods did everything. Instead of going for medication, we focused on what are we feeding him in order to nourish his body better. And now that he's doing really good, I'm now focusing on kids. I now started a Kids Can Cook extracurricular program, because studies are showing basically that kids today are being brought up on solely processed foods. And if this continues, the parents are going to outlive their kids. So change needs to happen now. And again, we are one of the top, 8, 10 in the world with obesity. And I'm so happy to be here today because I've created this Rethink Your Drink board, which you see next to me. It's like my buddy, it goes everywhere with me. And it's an educational tool, because these are the drinks that are being consumed everywhere. I went out to different schools to see what are children drinking the most of. And these are the drinks that are mostly drunk and bought. And manufacturers are brilliant people. They measure the sugar by grams, but we can't really picture what grams are in our head. So what I have done is I have converted it into teaspoons. So it kind of just creates an awareness on how much teaspoons are you drinking.
Crazy.
Yes,
the visual, when you see the amount of sugar in a Coke.
Yes.
I mean, that bag is crazy.
And the thing is, right, knowing the amount, what's important is knowing what is normal. Close up on the rethink. Yeah? Because what is important is to know what is the normal, right? It's saying 1 teaspoon is 4 grams. Do you know? Yeah. Do you know for kids, 0 to 4, or their total daily intake for sugar is just 16 grams, 4 teaspoons.
4 teaspoons.
For under 4, it's 16 grams. Between 5 to 14, it's actually 12 grams. So it goes down a little bit.
Right.
And that's just 3 teaspoons, the total amount of sugar for the day. One Coke.
And that, I mean, we get sugars from other things.
Exactly.
We get sugars from our
Yeah.
foods and our fruits and
So
whatnot.
when I do some of these talks as well, and I hold up one of these juices, one of it, 1 cartoon, 10 teaspoons. Whereas
Right.
your total is 3 teaspoons and 4 teaspoons. So in one drink, they're knocking out more than double, 3 times the amount.
And I'm sure it's not just one drink a day.
Exactly.
Wow.
Right? So that is what, now interestingly enough, the World Health Organization, Trinidad and
Tell me
Tobago.
how many drinks you have in a day?
He's just studying that board.
Yeah. Right. Right. So going back to a few of the stats, interestingly enough, 20 years ago, the term childhood obesity did not exist. Now it's considered 1 in 3 kids are developing childhood obesity, are considered overweight.
What is overweight? I mean,
Right.
I feel overweight. I mean, this is the biggest that I've ever been in life. I mean, depending on what you use, what index you use,
Right.
you know, some people say if
So
you're in a
the-
size rubbing, then you're overweight, you know, and it's like,
So the
that's
tip-
a real
yeah.
hard one, you know?
The typical index that is known is your body mass index.
Right.
However, it's disputed in terms of, it's not necessarily 100% used for children. We use a specific calculation and a ratio because as children grow, they have different physiological changes. Their body fat index is different to their body mass index.
Happy to come closer, you know, it's
Yeah.
okay, we finished with the ball.
So the
Are you
general...
shy? Paul is not going to bite you, we promise.
Yeah, the general index that is known is your body mass index, right? Like I said, however, we use it as a calculation, and it's your weight
How
over,
does the average mother know if her child is overweight?
right? The average
Easy
mom,
way, yeah? You know, you're kind of smart. People like me.
well, of course, aesthetics, right?
Okay.
But it's not just the weight, and this is something that I keep stressing on, is not just the weight aesthetic, it is their output. How much exercise, how much physical activity they're involved in. Because you can have a slim, lean child, but they're completely sedentary and they are still at risk as well.
Okay, how much exercise then? How much would you say that a child should be? How active should they be on a daily basis?
Right, so again, everything is based on ages, right? Essentially, if they can get a solid 30 minutes to an hour of physical activity every single day, which is why recess is so important.
And then are they running in school?
Right. So that's one of the suggestions to do, right? Running in school. What are your thoughts on the physical activity?
Well, Rena, what I want to say is like, all right, my eldest son, he's 15 now.
We still didn't even introduce him. We didn't even
That's all right, that's all right. No introduction needed. I'm a ghost right now. But I'm just a parent. But my oldest son, he's a bit on the chunky of sides. But I realized he started to skateboard when he went to Fatima, right?
How old is he?
He's 15 now, but when he went into Fatima, he was a bit, chunky. And the skateboarding he dropped 15 pounds,
Right.
So the physical activity.
right? But when he stopped, it just started to come back on.
But
So,
what is his diet like? I mean, my concern as well is that is it like a gene issue? Happy, were you like?
I was like
chubby
a spranger when I was growing up,
What does that mean?
like a piper.
You need to explain what
Like a
that
piper. I was hard, like when a man who you see out in the
means.
road,
Right, you were, so
right? So I was never. This now is like, people see me now, and if you saw me when I was like 12, you'd be like,
so this
nah.
is big for you.
Yeah, I was
And
very
his
skinny.
mom,
Same. She's not big at all.
so you wouldn't say that it's genes? I mean, how do we know?
Well, it
it's
could be
genes?
on on part of my side, on my side, some part there's some big folks, as well as his. But I believe a lot of it is physical activity, daily physical activity, and the skateboarding was very intense, so a lot of sweat.
So you dropped it first.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I tend to tell parents, think of it as a scale. Energy in, energy
Yeah.
out. And if it is, and once, that's why it's important to know that. You need to know what you're putting in, and you need to
Take out.
know what you're taking out.
Yeah,
right?
because even with myself, like when I'm not exercising or whatever, I set up on my belly and all kind of thing. But if I set a run, play football, do whatever, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it start to drop off. And, so, and I watch him, so it's basically the same body structure as mine. So even like last time he was out having dinner and he wanted some brownie, then I was like, nah. You understand?
Yeah.
So monitoring what they eat too is very important. But I think exercise, the good old run outside and play. We don't have that for kids these days. These days, society, how society is, you don't want your child out. Back in the day, in the Vale, we running up and down the Vale.
That's
We don't,
right.
4 o'clock, you can find a sweat somewhere. You understand? Now, how the communities are, they not, it's not as safe that the child can just run outside at 11 and 10.
Being active is no longer a natural part of the day.
Well, I've realized that,
I-
we'll see everything at PS4 and...
That's
and-
right. That's across the board. In fact, that's why I ended one of my presentations last time. The original PlayStation. Get real. Get outside.
Right.
And if this show, if the viewers watching, if they get one message, watch the sugar content, and Paulo will tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, this year
Right?
kind of...
And then
Scary,
increase
yeah,
your
it
physical
is.
activity.
It is, huh?
Because
And I think we should take some time to explain it.
So
Wow.
we're gonna go on break. When we come back, we are gonna explain. The camera guy is gonna zoom into that because, as Hoppy said, it is very scary. So we're gonna go on break. When we come back, Paul is gonna explain to us the sugar content in some of these drinks, and we're gonna talk a lot more about childhood obesity. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna pay some bills and come right back here. You're watching Care. Look
Our
at that.
kids still are. They're
Yes.
growing up on Orchard, on Chubby. What's in the schools? What's in the preschools?
Absolutely, and and when I look at the little bag, that's what's going into their system every single time they drink an orchard, and that is just crazy.
Yes. Yeah, so, with this board, it really creates awareness because I find that, a lot of parents, it's easier for them to pick up a convenience package, snack or juice, to put into the lunch kits. And with something like this, it kind of just gives you an awareness. Oh my God, this is how much sugar that I'm giving my child. And then next thing you know, the child ends up at the doctor's office, they end up sick, and then all of a sudden they're diagnosed with diabetes or some kind of ailment or illness. So, and then the mother is, oh my God, well, how did this happen? What happened? So this kind of creates that kind of opening. So you know what can happen if you consume, say, if you are consuming 3 times a day a Coke, for instance.
Yeah, when you're, like, say, we're making tea or Milo or whatnot, and imagine putting in like 3 teaspoons and you kind of feel like your drink is too sweet. No, but if we were to do that, we would feel that this drink is way too sweet.
Yeah.
We're putting a lot of sugar. And then we look at what this is. To think that this is going into every glass.
Yes.
That's insane.
We all love sugar. Sugar is an addictive substance. Think about it. The minute you have a little bit of sugar, what happens? You want more. You can't stop. And then the minute that you quit sugar, you get the withdrawal symptoms. You get fatigue, you get moody, you may get a headache, So it is an addictive substance. In experiments with labs with rats, they actually would go to the sugar rather than to the cocaine, right? So sugar is very addictive, right? And if you feel like you're eating this nice plate of, say, full of veggies or salads, and you're eating that, and then after you're going to have a bar of chocolate and finish it off with some ice cream, the sugars are so powerful that the sugars are going to kill off the nutrients from your vegetables and your salad. So really and truly, you've done nothing. That is how potent this sugar is. Sugar no longer has the nutrients it had before. So maybe when we were younger, we were getting better types of sugars. It's so refined, it's so stripped off.
Yeah. You see
Yes.
the sugar now.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
You
this
know,
sugar,
Sugar cane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, 'cause they sell sugarcane
Right.
juice. So can I maybe just
Sugar
use the
cane or
sugarcane
even
juice?
honey. When I
Yes.
have to do sweetening now,
Yeah.
and if I'm out, because I mean, I don't have what I would normally, I would actually use brown sugar or unrefined.
Well, I have to
The
tell you
more-
something. White sugar and brown sugar, there are no difference.
They're-
Brown
there's
sugar has
refinements.
96.9% sucrose, while white has 99.9% sucrose. Some brown sugars are dyed to make it look brown. Yes. So
you-
brown
you
sugar
specifically
is
look for raw
brown
sugar,
sugar.
yes.
Brown sugar is stripped. There's
Yeah.
nothing good in there anymore, like it used to, right?
So how do I know I'm getting good brown sugar?
You go as
Well,
unrefined, as unnatural as
How do
possible.
I know?
There's some organic sugars again, but the key thing is to change your palate. We do not need so much sugars. Our bodies are like this super computer, it is not built to have these levels of sugars at all. So we
But
need
we
to
know more
change
sugar.
that palate. So
We need to talk about that because, I mean, I'm having a problem right now. I mean, I think I'm a sugar daddy. I have sugar right through. And I mean, if I don't have sugar, it's like, as you said, you
Right.
get this withdrawal.
So let me tell you how we
I'm
change
I'm
the
a
topic.
sugar addict.
Right? How we change the topic is knowing what all that sugar does to your body.
Right.
So having the increased sugars in your body, as Paula said, your cells are not accustomed to this amount of sugar.
But I've been having
more-
sugar since I was small.
Right, hold on. So guess what? You building up the effect on your cells, and you're playing on those membranes, on those pathways, and then breaking down the normal digestive routes, the normal breaking down routes, and then putting your cells at risk for what is called diabetes, which is considered your lifestyle disease. This is what's happening with our children. Like I mentioned before, there was no such thing as diabetes in children. Now we're seeing 1 in 3 children developing childhood diabetes.
That is crazy.
Now, when they develop this at that young age, then adolescence, adulthood, they now put themselves at even greater risk, not just for diabetes, for other diseases, heart problems. We have kids now having almost like young strokes. So you're having young adults. Recently there was a guy in the gym and he's gymming hard, but he likes to eat a little too much on the sugar. 37, had a mild heart attack.
But there's a case where there's the total opposite and people dropping down and dying still who
So that's
have
where,
no sugar.
yeah.
They
So that's where balance comes in. I always preach, and I'm sure you say the same, balance. Because you don't deny your body X, Y, and Z. Simple, a little example. My son, everybody, or in his preschool, they all like fries. I refuse to give my child fries, but I give him sweet potato fries, cassava fries, green fig
I must
fries.
have been fun for him. Huh? I would like to be
Right?
his son, but like,
No, but he likes it. He actually, and I'm so proud of this, he's almost 5 and he has never had Coke, he's never had soda. You go to events, you go to family functions, and you have family members or even friends offering. And I'm like, please, my child does not know these things. And the minute you introduce it to their palate, then they're gonna want it.
yeah.
I think that's the issue, the introduction of it.
Yes.
Once they don't know it, then
That's right.
yeah. So for you, it
Out
kind
of-
of late.
out of
because you
sight,
love it,
out of
and you
mind.
love it.
But, but I mean, suppose they taste it when you're not around. Like
Right, which is what happens all the time. If-
now they become underlow addicts. Like,
yeah.
they're going behind mommy and daddy and
And that's where mommy and daddy becomes the role model. They see and they repeat. Children are the best echo. They repeat what they see. So we have to encourage habits where the parent is back sitting at the table eating with the child, where the parent will bring the child to grocery shop and choose the right thing. I was showing Paula early on a little video, and I hoped that it would have been nice if I could have brought it. My 2-year-old son,
We can put it on our Facebook page,
yes,
so our audience
indeed.
can look at it after.
My 2-year-old son darted into the kitchen one day, and I saw him picked up a box, and he turned it to the side. This is a 2, and he's like doing this, and I'm like, what is my child doing? I turn on the camera and I start videotaping. He's instinctively looking at the side. Why is he doing that? Because he sees his mommy constantly turning and looking at the side, the nutritional content. Can you imagine if we have all
I feel like that's
adults-
going to drive me crazy if I constantly have to look at the side and,
No.
and read a label.
It's not.
I hate reading. Now I have to read labels too.
That's what we
It's
have
best
to
to read the
change.
ingredients because the ingredients will tell you what's in your
That's
food.
right.
Come
That's
on,
what we have to
defend me here.
change.
Defend me here.
That's what we have to
I
change.
know. I mean, I just pick up things like, hey, that looking
Right.
good. That looking good. That looking
And
good.
that's what we have to change.
So if all of these things are looking good, obviously the front, they're going to focus on the front. So these are like, you have to look at them like
That's how you
actors.
decide.
They're putting on a
It's a
show.
real-
They want you to buy it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they
They,
bought me.
so they, they're going to put whatever it is that's enticing, that is going to draw your attention. Right? But what's on the front is not necessarily what's inside the package. This is actually, do you know that this apple juice is equivalent to eating 8 apples? So if I was to have 8 apples, are you going to eat all 8 apples?
Well, I mean, this is equivalent to 8.
Equivalent to 8 apples.
But that's a lot of apples.
That's a lot of apples.
But
So
apples is
imagine-
good for you. An apple a day keeps you
And
healthy.
you have an apple a day, not 8 apples a day.
Well, keep 8 doctors away.
Again, the theme is balance. Energy in, energy out.
So does that mean if I have a box of orchard, I could just go and run around in Savannah
No,
and be fine?
No, it's not.
But
It's
you
not
just told me. You just told me.
Yes,
no,
yes,
that's not
because
energy.
then you're putting way too much sugar into your system.
Yes,
right?
it does not work like that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's what I used to believe. Like,
Yeah.
I could eat bad right now and then go and...
No, it doesn't work like that.
Why not?
Why not?
Because what you already,
We're
once,
exercising.
once you damage the cells, right, the sugar, it goes and it converts to different types of chemical constituents within the body. And you already damage the cell. As Paula mentioned, sugar is as addictive as cocaine. Can you imagine what you're doing to a little child in particular, to their cognitive function, or to yours later on? Now, diabetes has been shown, and we know this affects all organs. And this is another one that I really like, the vicious cycle of childhood obesity. We start with our healthy child. However, they don't have as much physical activity because they all,
We could get the camera guy.
yeah, because they all, they're all behind the iPad and PlayStation. So then, they're less physically active. And while they're there and they're studying, they tend to be eating more. So then your child becomes more obese,
Right.
more overweight.
Okay.
Now they're in school.
Well, that
They-
happens to me all the time.
Right. They don't want
When
to.
I'm at the computer,
That's
I'm
right.
constantly like,
Right?
my hands have to be going, my mouth has to be going.
Yeah, so they're overweight now. They don't want to go partake in the physical activity because they feel they're slower. They then start to be bullied, so they become even more recluse. So it is a negative cycle. And your healthy child goes to your overweight child, goes to your obese child, to then having more problems and will have to come to the doctor. Their knees can get damaged. They can develop arthritic problems. So it is the cycle, and that's what we have to stop.
Yeah.
And guess what? The parents are the role models.
I mean,
But I honestly
No
find
more
like
juice.
I find in schools, the schools are doing really great. I mean, in
Yes.
schools they always have some kind of program. At least my
Yes.
children's schools. I mean, we just did sports day 2 weeks ago. This last weekend was walkathon. You know, they have all these extracurricular activities
Exactly.
because they're always moving their bodies.
Yes.
You
It's
know,
not just at
so
your school. I mean, I do a lot of book readings, and I will guarantee you, in a lot of public schools,
Yeah.
there are no extracurricular activities
Yes.
going on, like none. I'm not gonna call any names, but because
You
I
don't
coach,
encourage it.
you know,
You don't
I coach.
encourage it.
So I have sent out flyers to introduce
Yes.
hockey to kids or to the sports club. I mean, I created something called Sports Club, and it was, I guess, a business decision. And sometimes I think, you know, we have gotten to the stage where parents now send their children, they pay me just to have their kids be active. Because that's what Sports Club is.
at least
They
those are
come,
the
they
vigilant
come with their
ones.
bikes, they ride around,
Yeah.
we play catch, we do what are basic activities.
That's
So-
right.
And there are schools that have no extracurricular activities after
and you talk about the public schools.
public schools.
I find that so hard to believe because
private schools have great extracurricular activities. But there are several public schools that I have worked with, and not working with in terms of the academy, but working with in terms of going to do the mentorship talks because of the book,
Right.
you know, the
Yes.
book and working with them. If you can, you know, if I
Yes.
can, you can too.
Right.
And so they have all these great programs during school time, and then there is nothing after school. There's nothing after school.
Well, it's kind of shocking.
Not
to
in
me
primary
because
school.
And
Growing
not-
up, I went to only public school.
Yeah.
Do you know that running is not allowed in schools, in public schools, right? Because it's not health and safety, you have to,
Compliant.
you can't have like 300 children running around in a small courtyard. They're going to fall and break.
In that
What?
case, yeah, in
I'm
that case,
serious.
So then you see that's where the problem is starting now, because it's not even with the sugars
Exactly.
now.
You
Yes.
started it off. You started it off as crime, so it's unsafe for us to go and roam around the Vale. It's unsafe for us to run around 300 kids in the
So
courtyard.
that's why
So-
they literally say it's a global societal problem that need a full-on multidisciplinary approach. We need all factors involved in terms of not just schools, but they need policymakers to come and say these things, this is what should be encouraged. Do you know, a couple of weeks ago, the mayor, chancellor in United Kingdom, Chancellor George Osborne, in his budget, introduced a sugar tax, and the sugar tax is now levying on soft drinks. And the
Oh God,
money,
happy going broke.
yeah, and the money they're gonna get from there are gonna be reinvested into sporting programs. That is what we need.
That's great.
Policy like that.
I do have to stop you for a little bit. There's this ugly thing we have to do called paying bills. So we're gonna go pay some bills and come back. We're discussing childhood obesity. Hoppy's having a conniption over here because we're telling him he has to stop having sugars.
Well, boy,
We're gonna go on a break. When we come back, we'll talk more and try to convince Hoppy to stop having all these sugars. Don't go anywhere. We're watching Care. So we're here on Care. We're discussing childhood obesity. The conversations on break are always so great. Nobody likes going to pay bills. We're gonna go straight into our sex ed capsule, and then we promise we're gonna come back to talk about no sugar and childhood obesity. Do you know our children are less likely to be hit by a car than they are to be sexually abused? Yet as parents, we spend more time teaching road safety than we do teaching body safety. Our children are not traumatized to go on the road because we explain the potential dangers. And that's because we do it friendly, casually, repetitively, and age appropriately. In the same way, this is how we should teach body safety. We should do it from as early as age 2, and as they grow older, we increase what they learn. If you feel ill-equipped to have the conversation, contact the care team, and we will put you on to the relative authorities who can help you, equip you to have these conversations to help keep these tiny bodies safe. We can't close our eyes and hope that they don't get knocked down. In the same way, we can't avoid the topic. Let's have the conversations and help keep our tiny bodies safe. So we can't close our eyes. We have to deal with it.
That's right.
And so we have to deal with all these hard topics. And one of the hard topics are no sugar. Getting creative. No fries. Getting creative with the lunch kits. I mean, finding a way to do it without killing the pockets, because this organic thing is crazy. I'm a single mom. You know, I mean,
it's like my 2-year-old. How he eats now is like watching him. He would take something and put it in his mouth. If you don't like it, he's putting it back out. But if you don't like how it feels, he's putting it back out.
Right.
Or you getting him to eat like vegetables.
that's a good example.
What they simply are
He's not
exposed
gonna eat
to.
it. Because
Yeah.
if I'm eating it,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this tastes so good. Yeah, yeah. The minute he puts it in his mouth and it don't feel right or don't taste right, he don't even want it.
Right. So that's where we have a whole population of picky eaters, right? And my son as well went through it too. But you need to get those nutrients in. So I have had to resort to blending everything in and mixing it. So he likes his little pasta. I'm not a fan of pasta, but I would, instead of using cheese sauce, I use a cauliflower sauce. So I know he's getting the nutrients from the cauliflower into it. And it's almost the same thing.
You get Paula's
Yes.
Penacles, well,
Yes.
her version of Penacles.
Yes,
You,
exactly.
you just become a sneaky dad.
Yeah.
And you start sneaking the vegetables in, or just, if he does not like broccoli, for instance, try a different type of vegetables, but always have it there available, But if you're going to have the vegetables, you can't have some kind of cheesies next to it or something that that he's going to like. So remember, out of sight, out of mind. So I mean, they are going to get hungry eventually, so you want to have the vegetables.
That's real old
in-
fashioned, huh?
Yeah.
Like you put the plate down there and you don't want it.
It's really about being creative, right? They love, oh God, all children.
Cut up the vegetables in
Yes.
fun, different ways, or get him to cut the vegetables and try it in different dipping sauces, but
But we're
always
busy.
have it available.
But parents are busy.
Yeah. Next thing.
Well, feeding kids
So
is
next
the
thing-
priority.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. excuses,
Even
stop
for
stealing mine.
parents, like for me, even if I'm trying to eat healthier, my timing is so bad. So let's say I am after 6 or 7 or whatever, I looking for something and there's no option.
So failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So you need to prepare. You need to...
It's so easy to be.
Yeah, but you need to set the day that you're going to go to the grocery or the market. And then when you come home, you need to wash, you need to chop, you need to put away, and then you need to set a schedule like, okay, what am I going to have on Monday? Do you know what you're going to have? Like,
Listen, let me tell you this, right? And for any entrepreneur out there listening, I'm giving you a free, great idea for free on me, right? Because I don't want to do it. Healthy fast food.
what does that mean?
Where you could go and pick up a healthy fast food
Fast food on the go.
But it's healthy
I don't
food.
know what to have.
And it
Fast
will-
food there's out there. Well, where do I go?
Are you telling me I could cook it or whatever?
There actually are a couple groups.
Tell them about the Penacles. Tell them about
There
your-
actually
your-
are a couple little groups. that
But
do
they
it.
don't have no, they have no end in on the avenue or Woodbrook or
But
St.
that's,
James or
that's
whatever.
exactly what we need to encourage.
Which is no one else saying here, so
We need
y'all
to
can do
encourage
it.
that.
But I won't,
So
right?
you should do it.
Nah, I not into that restaurant business. I can't do it. But yeah.
But there are
activities,
options
you
out
do-
there. You just have to make better
Right,
choices.
so tell me, like 8 o'clock and I'm hungry, right? And
8
there's
o'clock
people
in the
on meeting.
morning?
No, in the night.
In the night?
And I need to eat. Where do I go? And the supermarket closed.
Okay, where do you usually go?
El Picos.
Okay, so El Pecos, right. They're very good. They really have really good options, So instead of going for, say, the fries, there are veggies or salads and they're meats,
But
so you
it's
can
still
go.
processed at some point.
Which part?
Some parts of them they are processed
The
stuff.
fries are processed, but not the salad.
Oh, well, grass and
There you go.
chicken.
Yeah, and then a little macaroni, a little macaroni pie or whatever.
Oh, you can eat
Or
macaroni pie?
potato.
I don't.
Well, not that one, but maybe like the
But if it-
potato, like.
I mean, a
Pecos
stewed chicken have sugar.
El Pecos actually has cassava too. So you
Okay, well,
take
I do not
those
know what they have in
options. Yeah.
El Pecos because I've
Right.
been, but
So you always think of what your options are,
Right.
right? What are the healthier choices? If there's potato versus cassava, you choose your cassava.
yes.
Your ground provisions, we need to go back to the old
Blue
days.
food, the blue food.
Yeah.
Tobago
yes.
food.
Yeah. Ground provisions, cassava, sweet potato. That is a healthy option, a lower caloric intake, lower calories than, say, fries. The processed, all of that process brings in all your nitrogens, all the things that cause cancers. Yeah. Many different names that you don't even want me to be mentioned here, but it's carcinogenic agents. So the more processed it is, the more you're putting bad into your body. The closer it is to natural, to God's green earth, the better. And that's a simple thing to think of.
Yes.
Anybody ever told you you look like Kamala? I have a what kind of Kamala vibes about her? Anybody?
We staying back onto the childhood obesity talk, and we keeping on the rethink your drink, right? Yeah.
You have Kamala vibes about her. You want in politics, you should try it. Try your hand.
We'll stay away from politics.
Basically, there are options out there, you know. It's just for
Yes.
you to like be a little bit more open, a little bit more aware. Because when you go in there, you know, before you walk into the Pecos, have it in your mind what you're going for. You know, don't reach there and you're just starving and you're seeing all the food and you just want a little bit of everything.
Well, I mean, I don't do that, but I would probably get, you know, a salad but portion control is the next thing.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Portion control.
So you want to put in
Keep
more
our eyes
greens?
inside.
You want to put in more greens than you want to put in the provisions?
An
or
easy
something
way
like
to
that.
remember
But
it.
I think preparation is key.
Yes.
And I mean, Hoppy, you are quite successful. In business, you have to be prepared. So it's just a matter of, it has to be priority. We have to, you know, say, look,
I'll give
it's
you a-
important to
yes.
us and prepare and just do
Yeah.
what we have to do.
I'll give you a little acronym I like to tell my parents. You know, we are accustomed showing people PDA, right? Public displays of affection. How about we change that acronym to prioritizing, detaching, and acknowledging. Prioritizing, right? You're taking notes. Prioritizing. Same preparation. In thinking of your food, think colors of the rainbow. That's all nice and exciting, right? Colors of the rainbow. So if you try to get
You have a leprechaun at the end. If it's,
oh God,
then-
probably could have
the
gold
pot
at
of
the
gold.
end, right? Right? You get your food groups from all the different colors. So that's why the nice, healthy, colorful salads, your different, right? Detaching, trying to understand what you can really pull your body away from, what it really doesn't need. It's our palate, you know, and we can retrain our palate. Same thing, rethink. And then acknowledging, understanding what it does to the
Before
whole
we
body.
go, as you're talking everything, right? Basically, what you all saying is everything from here go down. We shouldn't be drinking,
Well,
and our kids.
How much sugar does it have?
Yeah.
Total normal for your day is 4 teaspoons, right?
But
4
the thing is,
teaspoons.
4 teaspoons.
Exactly. So
If you drink
then,
half of it, like half of it.
so if it is you want to do the orchard, dilute it then.
Yes.
Try,
You can
water
dilute
it.
it.
Of course, fresh juices.
Water, don't water.
Right. Now, of course, if you have the time to do the fresh juicing,
What about the half orchard as he asked?
I don't prescribe it, I don't like it, but there are
So let me ask you, if I was to say half a Coke,
Oh my
with the
God.
ice. Hold on, how much Coke is it?
That is real sugar there, though. Like,
That's
real
still
sugar.
over.
Alright,
You gotta
so
do like a quarter Coke.
Quarter Coke,
I'm not a fan of
plenty
Coke.
ice. Diluted with the ice.
That's when I don't even go.
Well
Coke is a no-no.
then,
Coke is
yeah,
an
Coke is a
absolute
no-no.
no-no. Yeah, have you ever
Once
seen
in a
the
while,
ad
once in a
about
while.
What Coke does
What
to
about
the-
that?
Yes, it you.
Once
Have
in a
you
while.
ever seen what Coke does to the engines and the toilet cleaner and things like that? Have you ever seen those ads? You see those ads and you think you're putting that into your system? Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
We need to send plenty
Guys,
of Coke.
guys, we have to go on a break, and we're gonna give Hoppy a chance to like soak it all in. He's really like,
No,
his
Coke
heart is breaking
Coke is a
here.
part of me. Coke has been a part of me forever. Like, how am I going to do this? I can't divorce Coke.
We're talking childhood obesity. We're gonna pay some bills, and we'll come right back. Stay tuned. You're listening to Care. Hoppy's drinking water. Him and Paola are having it out during the break. If you're just joining us, we're talking about childhood obesity today. And I have, I mean, it's kind of coming to the end. I know. I know.
Oh my God, we can have this like over and over. It's just like so much to talk
I
about.
feel like I'm on the view today. No, I learned a lot. Actually, watching this kind of, you know,
And I hope the
it
audience
shook me a bit. I was like,
really
when I
listens.
watched this properly, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of sugar, boy.
So that's why the thought is.
I think we're gonna take a picture and we're gonna put it as your screensaver.
No, we need to post this up. I will post this up because a lot of people like me when we are, you know, seeing is believing, and then they're seeing like a bag. You can show that there?
You know, you can just ask the camera guy. He's gonna get it for you.
Camera guy, watch this, right? A bag under each one of these.
And this
like,
is
wow.
this is the realization we need with every parent, with teachers, with policymakers. Teachers in particular, they don't understand the role they play with our children.
Yeah, big time.
They are there all the time.
Even more than us.
More than parents. So if in schools they can encourage more water drinking, some of the cafeterias need to not have those drinks, have healthier options. There are
I know
healthier
parts in the
options.
States, they start banning.
In Canada, they have banned.
They have banned it. I want Trinidad to reach the point where we can ban those
you know
drinks.
the guys that make these things are the guys that...
Well, of course,
Okay.
they are
so
the ones who are going to fight it.
And they don't drink
They
it.
they are the heads of of society,
When I was
right?
seeing the
Stop being political.
Trinidad was rated the third fattest country in the world.
Imagine that. Wow.
Our children obesity rating was fifth by PAHO. What are we seeing
Third, you
for our
say?
future? Third fattest country. Third fattest country.
Who was the fattest country, by the way?
Kuwait and then United States.
Kuwait?
Yeah? Yeah?
All those bombs up in there.
Yeah?
And then United States.
And then United States, is it? Yeah. A full, right? So we're looking
Wow.
at what are we doing to our children if this is where we are at now? Like I said, 20 years ago,
What
this
is
did not
Cuba?
exist.
No,
That's
this is not the
Right, so it's the other way going up. So we have to institute policy. We have to start one step, little by little. A
Cuba is
quick-
nearly at the end, you know why, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to announce that I've just partnered up with Blue Waters, and we are going to take this Rethink Your Drink and do a campaign and go
Oh,
out to
excellent.
every school.
That is so great, because I was now
So,
saying maybe we
if
should
you
have
cannot
these
see
put up
this
in
right now,
schools.
it's going to be up in all schools,
That is
any community.
fantastic.
So thank you, Blue Waters.
And a simple little things with school, like my son's preschool, they no longer have snack time, they have fruit time.
Okay.
So there's no such
What
thing
school
as
is that?
snack time. A school in Palmy, St. Isabel's, right? But
We do need to change the lunch
Well,
kits.
let me
Maybe we
ask
can
you
give some advice on to
Hold
what
on.
our lunch kits should look like.
Let's go to the manufacturers, right?
you're gonna get us in trouble.
No, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to get a balance. You must have a balance.
Yes.
Let's say these guys were to take away the 18 grams and make it 10 grams.
That's right.
It won't
Of
taste
sugar.
good.
Exactly,
No,
they could do
they
that.
can do it. They can do
But
it.
as they say, it's training, it's training the body. So kids could still get an orchard, but it just mightn't taste like
Yeah. I'll give
original
you a next
orchard.
little example. I like to use my son as my example, right? My parents' house, there are a lot of different kids around, and you know how grandparents are. We all have that struggle, right?
Yes.
I love my mother, not bad talking. He opened their pantry, and that day I swear I nearly had a heart attack, because I know what's in that pantry, and I know what he absolutely doesn't get. He opened the pantry,
And
and
it's
guess
sweet.
what he took? Hold on, guess what he took? There were tons of different things. My child went and take a bag of cricks. And I was like, thank you, Lord, I have trained him right. Because that's what
It's
he
about their
knew.
palate.
That's what he knew. He didn't know the conkles. He didn't know the chocolates. He really didn't. So he took what he knew. And that's something we can, we have the power, we underestimate ourselves as parents.
But you see, you don't want to change what's in your cupboard. 'Cause you want it 8 o'clock in the night.
No, but hear this though. On a higher level, government,
Yes.
maybe it needs to start there.
And that's why I
Right?
talked about
No, it needs to start in your home.
No, but
You have
what I'm
no
saying-
control over the government.
Yeah, but outside
It
of
needs
my
to
home,
start in your home.
You're still going to go somewhere where I will have control.
But she
Right?
just
see-
showed. She just demonstrated. If they're taught properly at home,
Let me ask you
when
this.
they go out, they'll stick to what they
Let me
know.
ask you this, not to change topics, but for example, there's a ban on marijuana is illegal. It's a natural product, that's it? But it's illegal. No, I'm saying from a government. So we gonna be like, oh, that's illegal, you can't do it. So what's going on here?
And
Why
that
we
is
do have
why-
laws that say, you know, what's
That's
going on?
why I brought
You
up the
cannot
fact
have.
that the UK governor brought it in as a ban, a sugar tax. And he actually said, and I thought it was really interesting,
Well, who's going to champion that cause? Because it had to be championed.
Well,
They're not going to just think about it by themselves.
Well, they should be listening and watching here now.
I think
mean,
that's why we have.
But unless it's going to create votes, they ain't going to do it. You have to understand how, creating political will...
A couple new initiatives in Ministry of Health, and I do acknowledge that, and they are looking at the levels of non-communicable diseases. So that is something
we do have to
give
vote
credit.
until the next 4 years.
Yeah,
so
you do give
they
credit
could do
where
it now.
credit is due. They are
You don't
focusing
forget.
on
No,
those
but
things.
definitely change needs to
Forget.
happen,
But
you know.
change has to start from each individual person, each home. You have
That's
to
easy
have.
to say. That's easy.
It is
Listen,
not easy.
listen, for
it's
the more
very hard to
educated
say, but
homes,
we have to
right?
do it.
The more educated homes,
Yeah.
I end up talking university degrees or whatever. That's
Right.
educating itself.
Yeah.
Like today was an educational
Right.
program.
Right,
for
and
me.
it's free
right?
for all the viewers
Right?
to watch,
Hold
so
on.
they've gotten
But
free
then there are people out there
education.
who,
I am telling you, it is not easy.
Their
But it
level
has
of-
to start somewhere, and they have to know what is happening with their children later on. So it's an
right?
investment they're making
But
in their own
I
life.
think you all need to champion this on the heads of state
Sure.
to make sure that because there are people weak in this place like me. So unless I ban and I
No,
can't have it.
and we're getting there, you know, we're getting there.
And that's why it takes a full-on, it literally says, your statement.
Happy you're going to have them on your show,
Education is key, you
and
know,
they're
so
going
we're
to start
getting
to
there.
educate, and bit by bit, Paul and Sophia is going to,
Something, it takes a village to
it takes a village to raise a child.
village. It takes everyone.
So imagine what is this going to do when it's in every school in Trinidad.
right.
Maybe it could be a billboard. That is my vision.
I mean,
What do you think? What do you think it would do as a
I
billboard?
don't think the kids might understand it quite as well as the parents.
Right.
Well, it's the parents that's filling the lunch kit.
Kids
No, but-
follow their parents.
When this is up, I'm not just going to put it up in a school. I'm going to do a demonstration and teach the kids
That's
about
right.
it. It's not
Yeah.
just going to be put up, you know, so then they know and they start measuring, they start reading the labels. And with sugar, sugar has about over 60 different names. Why? Because we know that sugar, and manufacturers know that sugar is not good for us. So what they
So
have
they
done
hide
is
it
they hide
in
it.
every single way.
So a package of something that you may think, oh my God, this says no sugar. Have you ever had something that said sugar free? And then you wonder, but
I'm not
why?
going to sugar.
But why is this sugar free?
It is well.
Okay, but
You
why is
run
this
from
sugar free and
sugar-free.
has no sugar? You know, or something that
So that's the open
That, you know-
this is this.
exactly. So they've invented different names, so it tricks you, and you're thinking, oh my God, look, I'm having this, and
Also,
this has
sugar
no
free,
sugar.
but it's another name.
Isn't another name, or it has names like dextrose, or a good one is juice concentrate. It makes you think that it's just the pure fruit concentrated, you know, but what that is a fancy name for sugar. So it is just sugar, but it's just put down as juice concentrate, right? So you, besides reading labels, you want to know what are the other names for sugar, and there are over 60 different names.
And that's why she was saying education.
Yes.
We have to start preschool, secondary schools, primary schools, all levels, and parents. You know?
Yeah.
Before not to jump.
No, go ahead.
But is there a certain sector of society that obesity is prevalent? Because, you know, the boys in the ghetto, when they watch their structure, I don't think they're obese at all. So how do we, how do you, make the adjustment
Differentiation?
in society? Yeah.
Right. Well, there are different genetic makeups. So certain genetic makeups are more predisposed, right? And that is a known fact across the Caribbean, across the world, that the Indian, the Indo population is indeed more predisposed. However, there's now more recent studies showing that diabetes is indeed developing in not just Indian population, but the Afro-Trinidadian population across the board. So even though, like I said, they may look lean, that doesn't mean they can't be predisposed to it later on.
But I get at the obesity part.
Right. Yes. So it's a matter, as you say, it's a matter of the different factors.
Yeah, but the young boys might look lean now, but then they might not be so lean later on.
Healthy is not skinny.
Yes.
That's the main thing, you know. So
But it's still going on the obesity. We are the third highest obesity.
yes,
So what is making that up?
Yes. And where it's coming from? Where
But
From-
that's why we probably need more studies, because this
Yeah.
was a UK study. Imagine
Yeah.
that, a UK
well,
study.
I think what we're talking about today, the number one cause is sugar, and then next thing is the
Well,
the
we eat
high
roti
amount
and a
of
solo
fats.
all the time.
But it
We eat doubles and
Yes.
rotis.
Yeah, and then
especially
the high
the boys
amount
in the
of
ghetto
fats.
who don't have probably they have all this. They It's an easy fix. You understand?
Right.
They're not obese at all.
Yeah.
You know, and they eating probably worse than
Yes.
your
True,
children.
true, probably, yeah.
Right? And they don't have, so tell me what you know, how is it?
But what do their moms and dads look like?
I guess like them.
Is it genetic makeup? So they have some good genes blessed within them.
So then where we be coming
Where
to
those numbers?
But you're saying that, but I mean that might just be from your observation. I'm sure if we go in and we really start to do the studies,
Not
we may
saying they don't
not
have-
we
they
may
have
not
some big
find
people along there, but
right. And so we need to do the studies. You know, that's just making an assumption, but we don't know what they really look like.
well,
We need to look at the general population of Trinidad, and that's where those numbers came from.
Yeah.
The overall population.
Well, I think what he's trying to find out is the details within Trinidad, but I don't know if
I'm
that
trying to
study's
find
necessarily
out
been done.
why it is that, because if we all drinking and eating the same nonsense, right? But there are people who just will not be obese ever. And there's a certain sector of society, they mainly not obese at all, right? Why is this?
Like I said,
Well,
they have different genetic makeup, right? So different predispositions, different ethnicities are then predisposed to hold the fat within your body in a different way. This central obesity, right, the body fat, the tummy fat, that's actually adipose tissue. So different genetic makeups hold and process the cells and the sugars in a different way. So, yeah.
All right, and so you're talking about that now.
Yeah.
Prime example, they say, don't eat rice, right? Rice bad for you, blah, 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 blah. White rice, whatever. But the Chinese and the Asian people eating rice from the start of time, right? How come?
Guys, I'm so sorry. We have to wrap up.
You done already?
We are. The hour is done already.
The end point here is not because what they look like means, but that's what's inside. They can
Yeah.
then have predisposed to hypertension,
Well,
different.
that's a different topic. But when you say
Exactly.
obesity, this is that was my.
Everybody has a different
question.
body type, so everybody metabolizes food in a different way. So what could be good for me may be poisonous for you, and you may be putting on weight in a different area than I will, and we're eating the same thing. So we all have different body types.
Guys, it's been great. It's been great. I know the audience has had a really good time. They've learned a lot. Join us next week for another episode of Care 1230 on
No more sugar,
Synergy.
no more sugar.
Okay.